Good evening again, all of our folks there in Viewers Land. We want to say welcome to another edition of my Lutheran Connections. Today, I have with me my dear friend and brother, the Ambassador Jerry Tablo. He's there in our studios in Freetown, Sierra Leone, and I'm here in Georgia, Atlanta. Um, our colleagues, Brother Batam Abel Lewili, is going to be joining us very shortly from Monrovia, Liberia. The Reverend Zexter Yakwazu is going to be joining us from Columbus, Ohio, and our brother Josiah Jokai also will be joining us from Dansbury, Connecticut. Um, Today we are going to be speaking extensively on the Orange Project that the bishop talked about last week. He mentioned the Orange Project. We're also going to be talking about LTR. um, there are some programs we have outlined for LTR. We have the LTR series, and we are going to be digging deep into that. Um, Before we go further, we want to inform all of our viewers that the highly anticipated Dean of the Monrovia District Lutheran Church in Liberia, the Reverend Dr. Tor Thomas Jala is not going to be with us today due to some last minute change in schedule. However, like we said, we're going to be digging deep into the Orange Project, how it's going to benefit our church, um, meaning the people, and also the LTR series that we have outlined. The Ambassador Jerry Tablo, you are there in Freetown, Sierra Leone. How are you doing today?
Well, I want to say thank you so much, Brother Witty Cowboy,
Yes, sir.
and I'm very, very relaxed.
Good.
I'm happy that at least we uh, are able to be alive to see another Sunday, and just happy for the life that all of us are breathing and
Right.
in good health.
Right.
We pray for our church and hope that we can be able to move our church to where we want it to be as Lutheran all over the world. So again, I want to say thank you for this edition of our Lutheran Connections. And just to say again, we want to apologize to our viewers as a result of a last minute total schedule from our guest. And so we won't be having him, but we got a couple of interesting issues that we will be reflecting on, especially takeaways from the bishop, interview, and those substantive issues like the Orange Project and the issue of LTR are very cardinal issues that I think we need to share light on going forward. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You talked about the like you said the Orange Project. Um, and I understand that during our conversation, sometime I know you're going to bring that in, how it is benefiting our partners church in Sierra Leone. How we think that this is going to benefit the church, members, a whole lot, because like the bishop talked was on the show last week. He talked about how the seedings will be given to members of the church, and in turn they will be responsible to help grow these oranges. And after that, I mean, they can sell it. I see like sustainability, effort, helping the members, and they will in return, bring some of their fruits, to the church. And I think that is a great initiative. And also, we want to join our church and the bishop to appreciate the person who is helping out in this process, because he we don't want to like sound so political or so, or to highlight some political institutions, but the individual who is behind this, who is helping the church in this venture, we also want to appreciate them. But you can come in, Brother Tablo, on this on the issue of the oranges.
Yeah, Woody, thank you. I think that the interview we had with the bishop was a very, very interesting interview, though intriguing. So many twists and turns. But what was very, very important is the fact that
Right.
the bishop has started to wet his feet already,
Exactly.
and going into agriculture. As you know, we are looking at the sustainability of the church.
Right.
The church now is no longer a mission church. The church
Mhm.
now is really uh, owned by the LCL, and we got to try by all means possible to see how we can be able to sustain the church,
Right.
and no manna falling from heaven any longer.
No, 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 no,
And
no, no.
this is something that we got to know, and
Right.
and that is the reason why I thought that the bishop introducing with the support of that partner, the agriculture is just important, and is the right way to go, because we got the land, and I think we got the labor, and very credible and strong labor, and we try to see how we can be able to get the capital to move this venture. But the church needs to go into agriculture. Now, talking about the Orange Project, you remember the last time I asked the bishop, I said that it's one thing to plant. So, yes, we are planting now. But what is the next step? Are
Right.
we thinking on trying to move on, onto a finished product? um, to try to see how we can be able to lend support from next door neighbor Sierra Leone, who also benefiting from the project, and at least they are gravitating towards, along the value chain, gravitating towards finished product and consumables to put in the market.
Mhm.
So if we could be able to partner with them to be able to get the kind of innovation, so
Right.
that we also maybe start producing orange juice, start talking about many other things that orange could be used for, at least for vitamin C,
Mhm.
and that could be very, very good. And I'm glad that the fact the bishop has identified some parishes, that he, according to him, share, some of the seeds with the seeding with, so that they can start. And I heard him talking about also taking it at individual level. So, you could see that he's really coming from the top to the bottom. So first, maybe from the district level, then to parishes that's under the district. And then, for example, Moravia district, St. Paul district, and all of those different districts, under there. And then later on, he goes down to the individual level. But I thought that we were not so clear on the modalities that the bishop intend to use, and so that all of the different districts and parishes and individual could be able to lend the kind of support that the LCL will need, because we are not just giving in the seedings, but we want to yield something, and we
Right.
don't want it
Right.
to be a situation. We don't want it to be a situation where um, you know you will see that people again will say that, no, I'm owning it. Let it be a collective ownership, and then something that will be able to benefit the LCL. But I think it's a good way to start, and I hope that it will start getting into some other agricultural projects. For example, cassava, and that could be transformed into gari, that could be transformed into other things, and that we can also be able to put on the market, because um, I think one of our guests that we had said that we should look at the church now as a corporation. We
Right.
should look
Right.
at it as a
Mhm.
company, and
Mhm.
what we would like to see how we can be able to drive, the church into maximizing profit. And the way to do it is to try to see how we can be able to get and involve into agriculture, and then, in a very innovative way. I cannot say at an industrial stage, but at least in a very innovative way. So I think it's something that is very good. That's the takeaway, at least from the Orange Project, that I just want us to highlight.
Yeah, and Ambassador, when you talked about welcome, Reverend. Welcome, Reverend. The only Reverend is here, so we want to have him in. Yep, in the middle. That's good. Yeah. So when you talked about two things, you talked about the end goal or the finish. Having a finished product, and also you talked about the ownership. And when you speak of that, I'm thinking about how it can rotate. You know, like this time around, it's gonna go to probably say like the St. Paul River area, but those people should be able to reproduce more, and then the seed will see if the seed we can get more seeds that will go to the Kakata district area, or that will go to the southeastern district area, so that we can have this project, spread around. And
Well,
also.
let me just call the order to say something.
Mhm,
When you started to say this, I thought of something
mhm.
that's very comical.
Okay.
There were an agri project I know that we supported. When I say we, I'm talking about the MRU secretary,
Mhm,
and what we intended to do, what we call the VSLA, the Village Saving Loan.
mhm.
So we'll give some cattle or something like that to some village or some group of women and say, okay, look, you can you can take care of it, you can raise it, and then after a certain point in time, you can be able, once it reproduce and you start getting the piglets, or you're getting the goat, or you're getting all of those things from there, then you can be able to keep the mother, and then the kids and all the kind of thing. Then you can give it to another group of women, and it goes like that. But you will be surprised, that when we got back, we saw some of the people that said, oh, we're sitting down one time and we woke up in the morning, all the good laws. They took all the good. And while it is true that it is very funny, but it was very serious, because
Very serious,
I
yeah.
mean, of each of them we have pairs, and
Right,
we did that to this group so that at least the next group can benefit. So
right.
what you're saying is something that we need to take into consideration,
Yeah,
and that is the
yeah.
reason why I said
Mhm.
I don't know. I was not too sure that I grasped the modalities,
Right, right,
how Bishop intend to roll it out. I just heard him saying that he has given, to the district or one of the districts, and they
right,
spoke with the parish, the parishes. Yeah, giving it to them. Excuse me, giving it to them. That one thing.
right.
But the next thing is, if we are looking for RR, the rate of return,
Mhm.
and
Right.
and and, and
Continuity. Mhm.
yeah. So, how long Moravia District, for example, we run this thing, and then they can reproduce, and then we can take it, and give it to the next district. So, well, I mean, maybe Reverend Yabazo will come in,
Yeah.
and say something about that. But I really didn't catch the modalities in details. But as I said, he has already gotten his feet wet, and that's
Mhm.
a very good venture. And I think we need to be thinking as next step, learning of some innovation, so that we can be able along the value chain, to have some finished product that could be sold, on a Liberian market and
Yeah.
packaged properly.
Right, right, Ambassador. So as I was saying, right, and quickly the revenue is going to come in. As I was saying, right, I'm talking about finished product, and you talked about cassava. Okay, so the orange is just one. This individual has helped the church, to open this avenue for let's say using orange, okay, as the pilot project. But we have other projects that we can engage in, like the cassava project you talked about, or maybe yam project, something like that. Um, our colleague, brother Abel Lewelly, okay, the his his organization, they are producing gari. Okay, they come out with bags of gari, and they sell it. Okay, and I believe those who either the staff members, or the farmers who were involved in that process, they also they also they do benefit. So that's another thing too. It start with oranges, but then it goes to gari, and another thing, like you talk about the animal farming, it can go to that as well. But again, like you said, and I do agree with you again that we did not get, I did not really grab that, the process, that the mechanism of how it's going to be done. What I just captured from the bishop is we are giving it to them, it is theirs. How is it going to be monitored? And like you talked about the arrow, so all of that will have to be put into play. It's a good initiative. It's exciting that we should give it to the people, but how are they going to show responsibility for it? So I think it's something that the bishop and his team need to really kind of set up a line, set a streamline, towards how the entire process is going to be. But yes, I'm going to you to the
Yes,
reverend.
let's listen to the Reverend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reverend, welcome.
The reverend advised that we don't get microphone to reverend though.
Trying to get myself off. You can hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear you,
you
Reverend. Go ahead. Now you are muted. You have to unmute yourself, Reverend. Sorry, Reverend, you are muted.
you are still muted. You are still muted, Reverend.
It's-
Okay.
Okay, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you good now, Reverend. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm muted again.
No, you are fine. You are fine. You're okay
You are
right now.
fine now. Just no, you are fine now.
Hey, I think my computer is misbehaving, so it comes like being muted. And
No, you are not muted. You are fine now.
all right, that's good. I hope I can get my stream working well, because I can see you guys, but it's kind of freezing a little bit from my end. But it's always good to be here, and especially talking about everything Lutheran. So it's good to always be here and thinking about those good things we can keep discussing to move our church forward. And let me firstly say thank you, um, Jared, and thank you to Willie for kicking up the discussion and as to things that the church could easily get involved with. I know the both of you have said one thing in common, and what you've said is that you didn't get a couple of clarity on these issues you are discussing from the bishop. I guess because the bishop was off and on. Uh, he was in the dark, and he had to go audio and stuff like that, so it made it difficult to get clarity on a lot of things. But those are things that we encourage us to jot down, so that when he returns, we can be able to ask him more and more on these issues. I still have a lot as well myself to ask him from the last time he was here. So I'm still looking forward to his return. I know it's a little longer. I hope Whitty could adjust him and bring him back, but we will wait patiently for his return on the last whatever time he's going to be back here. So soon to kick up with that. I know I miss Joe not being here today, but I look forward to see him another time. Or I look forward to him joining, and even Abel. And let me listen to you guys as we go along. I don't want to make a comment on those things yet. I want to calculate my thoughts and structure them properly, because most of the time on this platform, the Reverend thoughts are kind of seen a little different than the ordinary people. So, come to think about it, this is what the Reverend said. I'm glad being here, though, but I just want to restructure my thoughts, properly, and I will speak to those things. But I'm still looking forward. Like I said again, I'm still looking forward to the bishop return here, so that we can, talk about most of these things. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend. Yeah. Thank you, Reverend. Willie,
Yeah.
Reverend wants to be very circumspect, so that nobody can twist his views. But let me just say this. Um, this platform, as per our motto, says securing the facts beyond emotions. And
Absolutely, absolutely.
we are all here in the best interest of the church.
Right,
And the platform is here to stay
right.
and to make sure that it lends support in the foul march of the Lutheran Church in Liberia.
Hmm.
So, Reverend, we know you to be a sober-minded person, and we know for the way that when you speak, you are calculative, and you won't say anything that somebody will want to, attempt to twist. But again, it's on you to say that you will be careful of what, very meticulous of the way in which you state it. I mean, as all of us will be.
Yeah,
But
correct.
let me just push him with another point before maybe we jump to the next topic, the LTR topic. But it's still around this agriculture and the agri sector. Reverend Yapazo, we I believe that we got a lot of people who, I mean, in the church now, who um, got ideas when it comes to the issue of agriculture. Because I can remember the last time the previous bishop, Dr. Siangolo, when he just got inaugurated or coronated, he had a very big meeting at Totota, and at the time I was staying in Liberia, and I attended that meeting, and he was trying to seek the opinion of church members, similar to what Reverend Doctor, because we must congratulate our
Oh yeah,
Reverend, right?
yeah. Sorry. Oh,
Our
sorry,
bishop,
Bishop. Sorry, Bishop.
our
We
right Reverend, our
must.
Lord Bishop. Our Lord
Yeah.
Bishop has a
Congratulations on your
doctorate,
doctoral.
honorary doctorate
Yeah,
degree from I think UMU,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so now he is Reverend Doctor. What?
No, no, hold on, Ambassador. You are not an
Yeah,
acolyte and you are not a reverend. So
please,
let me
please
give the
call
full
it. Please
title.
call it title.
Let
Yeah.
me give the full title. Now he is the Right Reverend, the Right Reverend Doctor G. Victor Patmore. That's his full title right now.
Very good.
The Right
Right,
Reverend. Yes,
Reverend Doctor G. Victor Padmore.
absolutely.
Reverend, we want to congratulate you for that feat. We
Yes,
believe that people are recognizing your efforts and your strive, uh, and that is also a win for all of us in the Lutheran Church in Liberia. And we want
absolutely.
to say congratulations, and we dock our heart up to you, and we are so happy that you can be able, to attain that honorary degree. So
Yes.
our Lord Bishop, Red Reverend Dr. G. Victor Pabo, we want to say we are so happy for you. So as I was saying, Reverend Yakwazo, I know you still want to be calculated, but you will not dodge a thing. So Reverend, so we had that platform, and we had the kind of discussion, and the discussion was very insightful, was very animated, and a lot of good ideas came up. Um, don't you think a roadmap have already been put in place that perhaps Bishop Padmore could look back on, see what was discussed, what were some of the recommendations, the outcome of that meeting, and what were those individuals, who were those individuals that were contacted, especially saying he wants to go into agri sector, and they can start having conversation on those roadmap or on those recommendations going forward. So that we cannot reinvent the wheels. I'm just thinking aloud, because I know for the way that there might have been some roadmap put in place by the previous administration, around these sectors. And agri, because I remember I was there, and agriculture was one of the key sectors that former bishop, do we call it former bishop? You the Akula again. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He's
Uh,
the
uh,
bishop. Yeah, he's
Bishop
the
emeritus.
bishop emeritus. Yeah,
Okay, Bishop Emeritus,
yeah,
Dr. Siangolo.
yeah.
So Reverend, do you think it's something that Reverend Padmo, Reverend Dr. G. Victor Padmo could consider?
I like to refer to my former lord as the retired Bishop D. Jensen Siankolo. I know there were very good agricultural plans put into place, and some of those plans could still be on the book. And my only contention will be what are those plans were shared. Like if those plans on the book was shown to the current administration, because I know most of the time with those good things they don't need to ask for it, just need to be shared with them. And if they were shared with the Reverend Doctor, the very Reverend Doctor G. Victor Padmo, I will appreciate that he can take advantage of those plans, because when it comes to agriculture, the Lutheran Church got a lot of resource people
Mhm.
that we can make use out of. Even when it comes to the children, the young people that are graduating today with those agricultural degrees, the church can make good use of them.
Mhm.
So the former administration technically will have plans on the book for what they intended to do with the LTR, or what they started doing at the LTR, what they intend to do at other places like Totota and stuff like that. Those plans, I'm hoping that they were shared with the current administration, and they could, all if there are possibilities that all the plans on book will work for them, there are also possibilities that all may not work for them. But they could take the one that are important for the church and ensure that they will have something to work with immediately and start to work with them. So that's what I can speak to. I'm hoping that whatever plan they have was actually shared with this current administration, because current administration, and the reason why I'm saying I'm hoping that it was shared with them, because remember we had the bishop here last Sunday, and he talked about some things that was given to them and some things that they did not get. So I'm hoping that this, whatever platform or plans that the former administration had concerning agriculture was something that they also share with this current administration, or this current, Bishop Padmo administration, so that they can have a roadmap to look at as well and work with it.
Yeah. Uh, uh, Thank you, Reverend. Reverend Abazo, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you.
Okay, yeah. So thank you very much for that. And I think the point you raise is also a very sensitive point. I mean that we hope that the bishop the Lord Bishop Emeritus was able to unveil some of those good plans to the current administration, so that they can look into that. Because look, I mean, we all just got to try to see how we work around this thing. And like I said to somebody, it is not time to shift around, blames. Because if we want to do that, then there are a lot of blames to go around. What we need to do now is to try to see how we can move ahead. We forge ahead, so that at least we can be able to have the church on the right trajectory. So it's a very good point. But again, we the bishop was waiting, and the bishop was on, and he talked about some of the land that we have evaporating. Evaporating in thin air, if I should use that word, and we are not utilizing them. So other people encroaching on them, or it has been taken away, etc. And we boast that we have a lot of land. We boast that we have a lot of property,
Mhm.
in the leeward part of the country, and this is an asset, and I think over time land appreciates.
Mhm.
But what are we doing to take stock on those land, so we have some ideas where they are, how much in acre, and all of those things, so that at least then we know what we're talking about in terms of having the assets, as we look at the issue of agriculture, because I'm not too sure we just want to make one backyard garden. I think we want to make something big that people can say the Lutheran Church in Liberia is known. Let us have our niche to say the Lutheran Church in Liberia.
Jerry, let me hold you there. You see, I personally would disagree with you on this one.
Go ahead. We are not. I didn't get you. Yeah.
Oh, you
okay,
hearing me?
Go ahead. You okay now?
Yeah, we're hearing you now, Reverend.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My screen is kind of sticky. I might have to change my location one point in time. But Jerry, let me. I am one person over the time who I've said to a lot of Lutherans, I've taken into consideration what I say, little things that matters. And when you talk about we need to do something as big as Lutheran, granted, we can do big things, but we need to start with little things before we do big things. And when we start doing bigger things, there are possibility. I mean, when we start doing smaller things, there are possibility that we will do big things. And I'm saying this to say, look, we have a land in Total. I don't know if I stand to be corrected. If from since that land was being surveyed by a team of surveyors headed by the late Reverend Amos Colley, I don't know if they ever done a survey of that land in Total. That's one very ideal land we get. But if you were to take into the consideration how many persons, how many Lutheran members have encroached on that land today, will tell you that we may not have anything much left there. And we're still sitting and looking at it. We need to act on it. And I say, for example, look at the AME Zion University. When they started, they ran it from the high school to the small building they have behind the church, Brown Memorial, on Benson Street. They're still in that tight place, running it from their high school and that building until they started making use of their land at Pool River, and then started having classes there, started getting buses to go to Pool River, and started doing stuff. The same thing with the UMU, the same thing with the Adventist University. When you talk, for example, even if we're willing from the beginning as Lutherans to just say, look, we will host this radio station. We don't need anywhere formal. We'll host the radio station in just St. Andrew. Personally, they said it was building for the pastor in the back of the church, and they agreed to give it to us. We'll go there and host the radio station. But now we have had a radio station, and we'll be thinking about developing it from what we had it to be to something better. So all we need to always do is to kick up something, put our foot in the door. You and I are sitting here today on my Lutheran Connection. If we have always said, well, we need to have a studio, we need to have 10 microphones, we will not be sitting here today. There are things that must be started, and you will see it just falling into place. So all of the things we have, Bishop Padmore may need some financial support, but he doesn't need to wait for it to start up big before it's going to end up big. It could start off small, but yes, we can end up big. I'm one person who just frown on people, having hundreds of meetings and everything they talk about is ready on papers, but you can't physically get to see them. And that's one position our church found herself in. Our church discussed a lot of things on the paper. You got a lot of smart people having different meetings, having different ESCO this, different ESCO that. But at the end of the day, we can't see those things on the ground. And we are forgetting to know that the Liberian community, the Liberian society, is such a society that believes in this theory of seeing is believing. If they don't see, no matter how many beautiful planes you got on the boat, they just don't take you serious. But when you hit the ground with it, a lot of them are prepared and ready to support the process. No?
So I think Reverend, I think Reverend, you are talking about us being pragmatic, and
Exactly.
that is a very very good point. But wait, you wanted to
Yeah,
weigh in.
yeah. I want to weigh in. I mean, I do agree with I do agree with Reverend, and there is a song, a gospel song that says, and I believe it is also biblical, that little is much, when God is in it, little is much. We can start from somewhere little, and we can move upward. We don't have to wait until we get this huge break before we can start to do something. But before we go, further, I don't want to lose my thought on this, on the issue of the end goal. What can our church, like, produce from these investments, from these projects? What can we transform it into? That's another thing for me. I'm really looking at that. We talked about the Gary. Okay, the church could have a project that will be supplying Gary. I remember back then in the Reverend, I think, Ambassador, you two can bear me witness to this, but I believe the Reverend can bear me witness to this, that we had a project, a roofing project, and we also had, I think it's a concrete project, like, how they design the yard and put these little bricks in the yard, and instead of the bare ground, they have these bricks in the yard and just design it. We had a company like that, or a project like that in the church. Okay. But I mean, today where it is anyway, that is in the view mirror now. But I think those are some places that the church can look at, saying, okay, if we want to do, if we want to reach this far, what happened to those projects in the past that today we no longer see them, and they are very 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 essential, that the corrections that we can make on those, and uh, um see a long term, a benefit of projects that the church will be engaging in. So that's one thing for me I'm interested in, and I remember the church, the church had this security company called Angel Security, and the Reverend Gono, Reverend Robert Gono, headed the Angel Security. I believe, along with another person, but we had the Angel Security. So the Orange Project, for me, the Orange Project shouldn't actually just stop. And again, I'm also waiting too for the bishop to come. We want to know, the Orange Project shouldn't just stop to giving it to the members, and the members go to plant the orange, and what happened to it or not, well, that's it. And I know for sure that's not gonna be the end result, but we need to be thinking more to that. Okay, we need to be thinking more to that. Like, I would say a common example, one of our brothers, our church brother, called brother Ebenezer Flomo. Ebenezer Flomo. Brother Ebenezer Flomo and his wife now, they are not only planting and producing cocoa. Okay, beyond that, they are producing chocolate. And I had an opportunity to taste his chocolate
Okay.
yesterday. Okay, so those are things for me. I'm actually looking forward to seeing our church engaging in, getting involved with. Okay, like talking about vitamin C, or cough drop. If our oranges can be used to make cough drop and
Mhm.
make some other things, for for
You hear?
sale, for to
You hear,
get some
Governor?
profit out of it, that will help our church. Those are some of the things for me I'm looking at, like the end goal. When we talk about end goal, those are some of the things I'm looking at, the church, benefiting from.
Yeah, Witty, I think you are also right. For me, let me ask you a question, Witty.
Yeah.
How long how long um the current bishop got to stay in office? What is the period?
um Okay, I see that the revenue is busy right now, but I stand to be corrected that um I think it's 5 years or 6 years. The revenue you are on set, you can correct us on that. I'm not pretty sure how long the term is. I've heard mixed, like 5 years if you want to go back another 5 year. I heard mixed, like you go 6 years if you want to go back another 4 years. So I'm not pretty sure. Okay, first 6 years. Someone just said it. First 6 years. Thank you, brother Newell. Thank you so much, brother Kennedy, Rich Kid Kennedy. Thank you very much. The first 6 years. So yeah. So I mean, in the first 6 years, we can be, now that we have, like I said, now that we have um oranges.
What
Okay.
do you get?
Someone, sorry.
What do you can hear
Yeah.
me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah.
My computer come on. I go on mute again, or I'm mute on
No,
mute.
no, you're fine. We can hear you very well. Yes, right.
Oh,
We can hear
okay.
you very well.
Yeah. So our constitution or whatever amendment they had provided us at the time to do like 2 years tenure of the bishop for 5 years, 5 years. But then they also realized that we are not meeting after every 3 years. We are meeting after every 2 years. So then if you call us after every 5 years, that means we'll always have to meet for a special convention.
Mhm.
So for the 5th year to elect a new bishop or for the current bishop to retain his seat. So what then they went back and did was that went back and did another amendment on that, because if you look at Bishop Jensen tenure was 5-5. So first term was 5 and the second term was 5. But with what we currently have on the book with Bishop Padmo is that his first term is for
Right.
6 years,
Okay.
because we will meet after every 2. So
Mhm.
technically, when we meeting, it will just be our regular convention that we'll be going to. A bishop,
Exactly.
yeah,
No
bishop
special
convention,
elections.
no special election. If he intend to still run after the 6 years,
Mhm.
he can only have 4 years to his credit if he wants.
Exactly. Yeah.
If not, whoever comes after his 6 year will still have 6 years, because they will be new.
They
The
will be
first thing
new.
will
Right.
give them 6 years. But and I think it's doing well. And if you ask me for my opinion on this show, I am one person who still think we have a lot to do. We have a lot of great things going on. I would look forward to us even reducing the term to 8 years, and the first term can be 4, and the second term can be another 4. It will give them, they'll put some heat, there's some fire under their feet to go running and doing a lot more they ought to do. And a lot of people will tell me, why do you think that 8 years is enough? I think 8 years is enough, especially for if you want to make a church progressive, if you want to make a church moving and and a lot being done, you got to have a group of people who come and take into consideration time and understand that I'm not here. I don't have a longer time here. And the time I have here, I got to play my part. This is a stage. I got to play my part and I got to leave. I'm of the conviction that when you give us too many time, especially with a progressive church where you have a lot of people with ambition, it's always good to keep it in the precise like timing and let people just come, play their part well, and leave. That's my thought on that. You know.
Now, the
I mean,
reason why I asked for the year of the bishop, at least I get it now, 6 and then 4 second term. You know, I know the plan will be ambitious, and I know when you got new administration, they coming in, the excitement is there, and they want to take on a lot of issues. But I think, like we stated, the bishop started on the rightful path of the issue of agriculture because it has a lot of potential. And maybe, um, the administration is, I heard the bishop talking about putting strategic plan. They state that to do verification and setting series of committee to do a lot of things to get their feet, stable on the ground. But I would, I would think that the bishop and his team should be able for the first, somebody say 6 years, to be known for something that they can point to before the next 4, so that at least they can say, okay, yes, in the agri sector we started and this is how far we've gone, etc. I'm not saying there are not competing priorities. There are competing priorities. But at this stage, you just must be able to prioritize the priority so that, you can be able to have something to point to. or to point at, to say, yes, this is, what we did in our first 6 years, and moving on to the next 4 years, this is the next plan. Even if it is one, even if it is two, the Reverend said, later is March. You said it, Woody. But at least people will be able to say, yeah, this is two, or these are two, or this is one. But the one or the two, really, you can point to it, and it's something vibrant. You can see the tangibles. So
Yeah.
that is what I thought, to ask for the period, his actual journey for the first term, so that we can be able to have this kind of conversation. And if, again, as John Revin to say, if the plan, if the roadmap by the previous administration was actually unveiled and shared with this administration, I think that's something also they need to be looking at. I think there will be some good recommendation, because at that time when Siangolo took us to Totota, the Reverend Dr. Siangolo, the Bishop Emeritus, look, my brother, I saw expertise in that room, and what I heard coming from people. The late, like Amos Cody, was still around. The late Peter Gedewala was still around. And most of these people that are late now, and the things that we heard coming from that room, I think the bishop needs to lay his hand on that document. Yeah.
Yeah. And quickly, I just want to peek back on that. Look, to be honest with you, our church, our church is blessed. I would say that for a fact. Our church is blessed. We have a whole lot of talented, we have gifted people in our church. I think what we need, what the administration needs to do is to actually like tap into these opportunities that the church has to make progress. Look, Reverend, you couldn't have said it more. You can give, even if 10 years, 10 years, you give 10 years in the first term and get 20 years in the next term. If there's no plan, if there's no innovation, nothing, you won't see it. Nothing will happen. So 4 years not bad. I do agree with 4 years. 4 years good enough to get things going. Sure, it's okay. This is what I started. Give me another chance to complete the projects that I have started, or the project that I started. You understand? I don't think, like, 6 years and 10 years and 15 years, the number of years will not really produce, what actually you want to, what you have to produce. But we can see it from the beginning. Like, for example, look at this Orange Project. Okay, look at the Orange Project. I believe that is geared towards, there's some goal. There's a goal somewhere that, okay, we can start with this project, and this is our end goal. And I believe that the bishop and his team, he has people that are looking towards, the end goal with these projects. Like the men's department also, they are into agriculture. Okay, the men's are into agriculture. Yeah, okay. It's no problem. One election for 10 years training, it can even be, I stand to differ with the same brother, but he can come on the show, we can discuss that. But 10 years, 15 years, it's not really gonna do. It's not really gonna do anything. You always say tomorrow we'll do it better tomorrow, or we will start tomorrow. Okay,
Yeah.
but if you have like a certain period of time and you say, okay, you know what, we don't have enough time. Hey, let's get things going. Okay, no, it's not to, and I want to say this. It's nothing bad against the previous administration, but if you see, they say you tell the Christmas from the Eve. You saw how this guy got on the ground, got his boot on the ground, went to LTI. Okay, we have clean LTI. What next for LTI? I call you all. You came here with clean LTI. What next? Okay, all right. Someone help us with orange seedings. Now we're giving them out. Okay, but even though we're giving them out, but what's the end goal on that? Okay, what else can we do? What else? What next? What next? Okay, and I believe these are some of the ideas that the previous administration, like, the Lord Bishop Emeritus Bishop Sianklo. Okay, I was very, very much excited when Bishop came and talked to us about the Just 50 project. Okay, but those are some projects that, again, we have to know what went wrong to correct some of the mistakes that happened along the way on some of the past projects that are in the view mirror now, looking at the projects that are ahead of us. Okay, looking at the projects that are ahead of us, that what can we do to make these projects more sustainable? Okay, that we cannot have the same mistake that we made on the past projects, that we can, speaking of projects again, I mean, just out of the way, I just want to ask a question. I don't know if the Reverend can give us information, or Brother Tablo can give us information, but or anyone out there. What happened to the Lutheran Village project? The project on Tower Hill, the Lutheran Village project. I mean, I don't, it's just
The Tower Hill is there. I think the Tower Hill, they kind of remodel it a little bit, because the last time I was in Monrovia, I saw it. They remodel it a little bit, but it's still just standing there in rain. I don't think we managed to get anybody to take over it. So we may just have somebody living there and kind of managing the place. But look, we need to create attraction for all of those different places.
Absolutely.
We need to create attraction. If you come to think about it, the city is moving towards all of those places, the Tower Hill Bell, they are going towards the Mount Barclay, towards Kakata. The city is moving to all those different places. We just need people. We need people. Our church needs to graduate from this point where people say, "Oh, the little children who just come today," when people be telling them the other thing they don't understand. Go are those days.
Right.
There are a lot more young people today who are so much innovative in running projects in that time. For example, look at this guy, James
Mulba.
Yeah. Look at, for example, Sumo Mulba. Take different young people who are doing extremely well running their personal businesses, NGOs. Grab the ideas of some of those young people and ask them, what can we do? Because look, the reality is that this church, and I've said it time immemorial, we cannot and will not want this church to be a church that will rely on Sunday offering. People will get bored, people will run out, pastors will not have money to take care of themselves, neither will the church have money to take care of pastor. People need to start thinking out of the box. People need to start thinking in complete different direction. For example, if we claim that every property, like one of the counselors we have on this show talk about all the churches, like as per the Lutheran Church Constitution, all of those churches that are member congregation of the Lutheran Church, the land, the church, and everything they own is owned by the LCL. Technically, those deed for those places should be even put in the name of the LCL and not into those parishes. If we want to take into consideration all of those things, even with regards to this very big building St. Peter's high in the back of the church, don't you think St. Peter's alone as a parish, we can look at church like St. Peter's and give them, for example, the Tower Hill, and tell them, look, we want you to decide what you want to do with Tower Hill and run it, but we want to get certain percentage. If you get 100%, since you're going to be spending your money there in raising funds, we want you to make sure that you give the LCL at least 40% or 30% every year of what you will generate. The reason why St. Peter is going to do it is because they know very well if they take hold of it, it's also going to give them the opportunity to generate some funds from there and settle some things they got to settle at St. Peter's in taking care of their own well-being, and also be able to contribute greatly to the LCL. That is far better than having those properties sitting there from January 1st to December 31st, and we cannot get a dime. And they are depreciating because they're just sitting there, So it's just, simple things that matters. And we need
I see Reverend you made some salient points, and I can see that you kind of sinking in some level of frustration when you're talking. I mean, I can get it from your facial expression, I can get it from your tone. But um, let me just chime in to say that, look, where we are now, we need to firstly have the clarity of thoughts. A lot of priorities on the table. This administration came with its priorities. They need to ensure that they put all of the priorities on the table and prioritize the priority. That's the first thing. Once the thoughts clear and got a clear roadmap, then we can be able to move. As I said, even one or two, we can start with that in terms of the sustainability. Reverend, you made a point about giving it to the church. That's one good idea. Another good idea could be, well, we could outsource the property,
Exactly.
maybe on the lease, or maybe on a and then we can get people to manage it for us, and then we can be able to try to get some revenues from there. If we are not able to manage it, we can get people to help us to do it, and we can be able to get some revenue from there. I see colleagues are saying that the Tower Hill property has been rented to the Ministry of Public Works, and I think it is used probably for quarry, where they do the crush racks and all the kind of thing to make the quota and all the kind of thing to make the road. How much is the government pumping into that? How much the Lutheran Church benefiting from that? And who receives the money? We don't have all of the information, and I don't think this time we're going to use this show to start to talk about it, because we need to get our facts right, as we always do, before we can delve into that. But I think it's something that we're contemplating on talking about. But I will want us to now pivot to the LTI, because it's very key. But you can give your last point here.
Yeah. I just want to say this quickly before LTI. So if we can, what is the problem, or what is it so much that we cannot run it? Instead, we're gonna not rent it but lease. Okay, we're gonna lease. What is it that this person, or I don't know, an investor or so is doing there? I heard you say like public works or so, right? What is it so much that they are doing that we cannot do the same thing? But that is not just the main point. My concern is towards encroaching, like Reverend said. The city is expanding. Few years from now, if we don't really pay attention to these properties that we own, guess what's going to start happening? People are going to start to encroach on the land around the area, and the next thing, the church now got to form a team to start going to court.
But wait, let me cut you off there. That is the reason why I said clarity of thought. Because if you listen to Reverend Yapazo was giving one suggestion, that perhaps St. Peter's could be given that opportunity to say, look, take the building or take the property, do something on it, and then revenue from there, we can have a memorandum of understanding to say maybe 40, 60 or so, and all the kind of things that come into LCR. I'm also saying there's an alternative. The alternative could be perhaps we could outsource it. Now, the property is being leased to, I think, to Public Works, and Public Works might have subleased it to a company that is using it for the road project.
I think what we need to do, maybe we can investigate on that. We can investigate. Okay, go ahead.
I can't be waiting. So these are possibilities. We don't know the facts, and we don't. I don't want us to attempt to delve into that when we don't know all of the facts. You understand? We need to get the facts. We need to get the facts and get somebody who will fill with that project to come and explain what, in fact, Public Works doing there. They say, they said, are they using it for quarry, where they put the crush racks and things to be able? Which company Public Works sublease it to? how much the person paying, who are they paying it to? Public Works, and Public Works in return pay it to the church's account, which account it goes into. These are issues that maybe the verification team could take on. It is not for our platform.
No,
You
no, it's not.
understand?
It's not for
Yeah.
our platform. It's not for our platform.
To discuss.
And
You
it's
know,
a part
so
of the
let's
agreement.
move on to the
Let's
LTI. LTI is very,
move to LTI.
Jerry, before
LTI
you
is very,
Jerry,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you move, I think the CM brother has a comment here. Is that what you're talking about, Reverend?
no, I just want to say something as well, but you can go ahead with Sonny.
No, yeah. I mean, he's talking about the Orange Project. He said it's a very good idea. But again, like I think he's raising the same concern that
Yeah,
the
he said the
ambassador and I
Orange
talked
Project
about.
could be. You see the word you're using, could be. Orange Project could be a very good project. However, I am not sure of the strategies being employed.
For
the implementation.
That's the concern that we have too, CM brother George.
So, I like the way he started. Could be.
Yeah.
Depends the implementation. It could be a good project. It depends whatever way they're going to, some concerns are, did Bishop make assessment on the planning? I don't know if the Bishop said that when he was here. Distribution of the seas.
But
do these parishes have capacity? Say that again.
No, I said you came to your boss's defense at the earlier stage. You said because the connection.
You wanted to be meticulous on how you speak and calculative. But these were the same points we're raising.
Those are the same points we're raising, Reverend. But you came to
you wanted to be meticulous.
Your boss's aid, and you said that his communication was his connection was fluctuating, so he could not respond to some of these. Because keep these questions for the last Sunday in this.
Exactly, because there are a lot more things that I myself want to talk to him about. But remember, when I got on the show on Sunday, I didn't ready. The mood I came in a more critical mood to like the Bishop. That's why I asked the Bishop. I don't want to go back to that until the Bishop gets back here. But you will realize that my first statement on that show on that Sunday was, where is the transitional team? And then the Bishop himself said he was on the team. And then his current BA was on the team. Those are things that Bishop, when he comes back here, I hope not to lose my thought on them, but I need to go back to those things to ask him. Because how can you be on a team, your BA is there, because those are the BA is one very critical man, and to see that they didn't catch some of those things, they didn't see it coming, and it slide under the hands. I'm still here to think about it,
So the Bishop told you, So Reverend, the Bishop told you. So Reverend, the Bishop told you that some of the information was concealed. So that means they asked probing questions.
Well, Jerry,
but they didn't get the answers. They didn't get the answers they needed to. I'm coming now. I'm coming.
I just want to tell you that I heard the Bishop on that, but I don't want us to go there because it's going to open your Europe stuff. We stay discussing LTI, right?
That's what I'm saying.
LTI.
Yeah. So let's go back. The only thing I wanted to say is that I am one person who think that if Bishop, the Right Reverend Dr. Bishop G. Victor Padmo, we have one thing to do for his 100-day or his exact 365 days in office, should be to take stock. Should be to take stock. It is very important for our church. We need to, if I were the bishop, like he goes around and just preach and do what he ought to do as a bishop, but focus currently on taking stock of what we have, what he got to work with before he can even engage into a lot. We need to take stock of what we have. There will be bishops in and bishop out who doesn't even know how many acres we got on the Tower Hill and how many buildings we have there. There will be bishops in and out who will not even know the size of our property we got in total time. They will be in and they will be out. There will be bishop in and out who will not even know the total number of land we currently have at LTI.
Even
There will
put up
be
for that KP as well.
exactly. We need to take stock of all of those things. We even need to take stock of this hotel building we got directly behind our compound. Where when the bishop bring his eyeglasses down, like that, he can see those buildings. He put his eyeglasses back up, he can see those buildings. We need to take stock of them and let our young people know we got this building. It was built on our property. It is leased for 50 years. It is leased for 60 years. It is leased for 70 years. We need to take stock. So when I get somewhere and try to ask the bishop any question, the bishop can just have his hands on those things and say, look, whatever property you see we got to this place is just there. Maybe our future, because it's possible if this current administration tells our generation, look, the property we got behind the LCL compound, for example, is leased for 50 years. We will tell them we have a mandate, do not renew the lease. Because if you renew the lease, it's possible our generation will not even know what to do about it. So when that lease expires, keep it. We want to make sure if we will be alive until that lease expires, then we will know what to do about it. But if they come back to you while the pending lease is still on and want to even extend it, don't do it. Don't do it, because we want to, we need to take stock. So now even before Bishop Patmos start to invest into LTR, he firstly need to know what we have at LTR. We need to know how much land we get to LTR, because we don't want to go start planting our oranges there and somebody come and tell us where you're getting into my own land. So if it is possible to do a break and do a resurvey of our property at LTR, we need to do it before we proceed further. That's just what I wanted to say, Jerry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think well, maybe the bishop wants to approach the issue concomitantly. He wants to move on taking stock as well as trying to do something already, so people can see the direction. And I think he's trying to give us heads up that, look, I'm interested in the agri sector, and I think there where we got the strength, because there where we got the land, there where we can find the labor, very serious labor. And we can try to look around for the capital to see how we can be able to do something, and probably that is one. But I agree with you, and that is the reason why the bishop has come up to say that he got this law and waiter verification team. He said he wanted to, he won't announce the name of the person, but I think the previous candidate that was contacted is still not feeling well, so he declined the request, and then he got another person. We don't know the person, but I think they're forming a committee, and I think they will start. And it's just good, like all of us saying, it is not to harm anybody. It's not to look for anything, negative. Just to in planning, you need to know, where you're coming from. You need to know where you are. Then it puts you in the position.
I think it's all about just preparation and innovation, getting yourself in, seated at the right place. And so it is. I don't think it's about witch hunting. It's about getting things in order.
Yeah, but wait.
Yeah.
I want to find out from you.
Yeah.
We saw the video of LTR. I don't know if Reverend saw that video.
I did.
It is very disturbing. It is very downhearting.
Yeah.
Especially looking at an institution that provided services to the Republic of Liberia.
High quality education as well.
High quality education. Mm-hmm. We got people in Liberia, all of Liberia, that passed through LTR, some of whom were not Lutherans, educated them. And now we see LTR is almost going into the dungeon of retrogression.
It's in ruin.
Bishop, no, I said even retrogression. Bishop had to lead a team to try to see how they could be able to give it a facelift. Even the facelift that was given, even expose LTR more and more. What do you think need to be done in the immediate, that the short to medium term, they started the brushing already. What do you think the administration, the current administration, need to be looking at now in terms of resuscitating LTR? I know they got LTR Alumni Association having some discussion, which of course we might invite to come and give us how far they are. But just talking on top of our head, looking at the video, what do you think need to be done in the short to medium term? Woody?
Yeah, the video actually is disturbing. The video, if you tell me that people are learning on that campus, I still find it difficult to believe that people are on that campus. Um, One of the things that this administration started, but trying first to have the area, try to give a facelift, and that's just on like I know the medical people would do, like if someone has a wound and it's kind of in bad shape, first of all they want to apply some solutions to kind of clean it over, clean it first, and then give a good picture of it, then they can start to apply the necessary curable medicine on there so that they can for a long-term goal. um One of the things that the church needs to do, and that you talked about, need to call stakeholders, in our church, those also who benefited um, from the institution that are not even Lutherans, need to call everyone on board to bring in the ideas on how best this institution can be resuscitated. Because this institution right now, for me, I mean, I should be honest with you, is
It's on life support.
this institution is I mean, it's in coma. Yeah, I think that the medical people will want to agree with me in some way that being on life support, and I mean, you can be on life support and be in coma, but sometimes people can be in coma 2, 3, 4 days, weeks, months. They can be in coma. So that's exactly what happened at LTR. I mean, and I don't mean to say this to pin anyone negative, but the situation at LTR is very, 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 very serious. It's more than serious, and that is the institution that the church and Aliyah are heavily eyeing as the technical college for the proposed Lutheran University. So a whole lot need to. I mean, and sometimes when you see, we ask the question to Aliyah, because they have been the one that we've been talking to when it comes to the LTR, not LTR but LUL. We have not really called in the church yet, but we've been able to get Aliyah. So we ask, what is the strategic plan? Because when you ask me, you say, what do you think, like the long term and the short term? The assessment will have to be done on our campus. If we really, really want to hold that campus as our technical college or our main campus, the main campus, like Brother Abel already said, not to pre-war status, but to modern day status. Okay, so an assessment, I would say sure that an assessment has to be done, really find out how, the possibilities that we can bring that campus to a modern day status. But um, we know that investment will have to be made, but all of that again, a strategic plan will have to be put into place. So the short term is to clean the area and see how best the staff, the current staff that is there, how we can help with their upkeeping, when it comes to finance and everything, help them up with their upkeeping. But that's just the short term. That's just to put bandage on the wound. But to really cure that wound and using that place as the main campus of the Lutheran University, proposed Lutheran University, we really, really have to do a strategic plan, looking at budget and analysis and everything, and see how best we can write proposal to get funding.
Yeah, but Reverend, I don't know if Reverend is still there, but I
I'm
just
here.
want to, I just want to bring Reverend in Because I believe in my mind that that institution, I don't know if that institution got subvention. And if it got subvention from which is did it get subvention from the LCL consolidated fund or account or budget, or did it get subvention from the government? I don't know if any of you on the platform will know. Secondly, that institution should be an institution that should be able at least to generate some kind of revenue for is operational expense. What we call a recurring cost. For example, paying teachers. For example, so are the students or were the students going there not paying fees? And because it has been reported that for almost a year or so, we stand to be corrected, but for almost a year, teachers have not been paid. And so what was the management doing? And were they not generating revenue? Were they not getting subvention? Don't you think it's something that is concerning revenue?
Jared, Willie, is concerning and is troubling, but I like to digress a little bit, or I like to differ a little bit. I think when you both say the LTI is in coma or the LTI is on life support, I disagree with that. I think the LTI is breathing, is alive, and again, I like to come back to say it is us Lutheran, and we need to, for us Lutherans, we need to start like START. We need to start thinking differently about things. And I want to go back to what you asked, Witty. Firstly, we need to get people within that LTR belt, maybe close to 5 persons, and put them on, hire them quarterly. We need to get like 5 men in that LTR belt and hire them quarterly. We tell them we're going to hire you after every maybe 3 months or after every 4 months, until we finally decide what we're going to do here. You are going to be the one responsible to keep cleaning around this place. We don't want the bush around here to ever grow back the way it was. So you have a permanent contract of every quarter, every 3 months, you have to brush it. Even if you think it has not grown to the point, we need to strategize as to how we raise money to pay those people. So that means we're going to make sure to get them brush around the LTR like 4 times in a year. So that whatever thick bush that was just left there is no more going to exist, because we're going to make sure we clean it up. Another thing we also need to take into consideration, with a place in a bush like that, there are two things that could happen. Whatever low resources they were getting to manage the staff there were not properly managed. So because it was not properly managed, obviously they will go lacking back, and people will not be able to get pay for months, because the little they were getting, they were not spending it properly. Lack of responsibility in the funds they were getting. People were not actually spending what they were getting appropriately. That's one thing. Another thing that was happening there, either whatever projection they had into place from the beginning about things they were going to be raising from there. Let's assume if they were getting the support from the LCL, I mean from the LCL, or support from the government of Liberia, and saying we'll give LTR maybe $100, and then they decided, okay, we ourselves will be able to raise another $100 on LTR campus, and then when we put those both money together, it becomes $200, and will be able to help us. I'm just giving you a hypothetical situation. It will be able to help us to pay our staff, help us to run our generator, and help us to pay, a couple of other things we need to pay. Once one of those $100 are not forthcoming, so if the government $100 was coming and the one that's supposed to be raised at LTR was not coming, obviously you don't expect them to do better. You don't expect them to be able to pay the staff. And Jerry, I'm saying this, look, our church needs to get up, Jerry. I graduated from the African Methodist Episcopal Zion University January 29, 2007. January 29, 2007. My graduating class was the first class that AME Zion graduated at Pool River. They had one building there that was a little better than almost all the building, because almost all the building they had on that compound or that Pool River never had a roof on the top of it. But when we got there, our graduating class went there and they are serving and came back. And we decided that we will renovate one of the building, only a single building. What better renovation work we did? Our class leadership just roofed that building. There were not enough fundings to like paint the entire building and do a couple other different work, like install commodes and bathrooms. We just did the roof of that building. That one building today encourage administration to go back to Pool River. They have done a lot of buildings there. They have done a lot there. There is no AME Zion graduation that is done anywhere else beside Pool River. The Lutheran Church can do that right at LTI. We need to take the first step. Good for us. We got a couple of our buildings there that already got roof on the top. There is this traditional Liberian saying that said that human being can make place. Human being can make place. If we have people in there, we have students over there that engage in that place, and we start raising some funds and they are managed well, we will be able to take care of that LTI and put it to where we ought to put it. Yeah.
Yes. It makes a lot of sense. That could be the medium to long term initiative. In addition to what Weddy was saying, firstly to have an understanding of the actual issue by taking stock, and I think that is where we need to try to see how we can get on a platform with the directors. Do you call them directors, administrators, or who? I mean, to get them on the platform to give us some understanding of the current state of LTI, the challenges, and how, let them suggest to us how we can be able to help to remedy the situation, because they may have some answers because they are there. And we need to get the former director as well as the current director to come on board so that we can be able to have the conversation around LTI going forward. And I think this is something that we need to work on seriously, Willie, so that we can be able to have first to establish. You know, when people saying they want to develop public policy, the first thing they do, they try to look for the problem, to establish the problem. You understand? Then gradually they start, then they diagnose, then gradually they start looking for the prescription.
Exactly.
To try to see how they can be able to remedy the situation. And in order for us to properly diagnose the situation of LTI, I think we need to get the current director and the former director to come and sit with us so that we can be able to understand the state of LTI and what are the challenges, the current challenges. And some of these questions, I think they can be able to answer them, because I believe in my mind, like Reverend was saying, that we need to see how we can see somebody who also, I think you put it up one.
I also wanted to
writing university around the world, America, Canada. Those are some of the mechanisms that could be used.
Right.
But first, we need to understand.
We need to understand the situation.
Is it on subvention?
Right.
You know, and how much have been put into it already, and what is the strategy you find the current director has in terms of generating revenue? Why up to now, why those teachers we have there, at least the committed ones, have not taken pay for nearly 12 months or 24 months? Why? And these are questions that we need to get clarity on.
Jerry, Ambassador, Reverend, can I just say this quick so that I don't lose my my thought? You know, there's this thing in those in the NGO setting. I think the ambassador there too, and the Reverend too, is something called this donor fatigue, right?
Yeah.
That I agree with the brother Sai Faya. I do agree that, you know, we can write paper, we send it out to all the people, say come and contribute. But listen, we will first have to establish what the problem is. We establish how, where we intend to go with it. Okay. And we have to establish how much it's going to cost us. This is the reason why we keep asking, about this Lutheran University project. We need to have, documents that will tell us, say, look, this is where we can go, this is what we can, and also tell the donors that this is what we can bring to the table. Last evening, I was at the Zozo District Development Association, the USA chapter event. They had a convention this weekend, and last evening they had a ball. We had a guest speaker. This is someone who she's a Liberian American, but she was born here and everything. Her parents, migrated over to the US. She has spent over 17 years with the CDC, a doctor, young girl, young lady, I would say young lady. She has spent a long time with the CDC, Center for Disease Control. But guess what the lady said? She said it's not only about paying school fees and someone does not have food, but we need to teach them how to fish. That's another thing too. We need to,
of course, because the West is having more problem now than you can imagine.
Exactly. Yeah. So writing is one thing, but we need to we need to be, we need to be very, very mindful. We cannot just go and we cannot ask for subsidy to come to for projects. Then we're going to ask for subsidy for this one and go and ask for subsidy and go and ask transportation and what have you. But I mean, what can we bring to the table as well?
We need to.
But more besides that, Reverend and Willie, like all of us saying, and Willie, I think you're right too when you talk about we need to understand, because we need to patch the hole if there's a hole in the bucket.
Exactly.
We need to patch it. So we can't go carry bucket that leaking when we write, then they give them money, and then the money starts passing through the
start passing through the same hole.
You see, so we need to patch it, and these are and the way to patch it is for us to understand what are the actual facts. Then we can be able to move on, and these are the reason why I'm suggesting.
How are we going to get the actual facts?
Our platform endeavor to get the current director and the past director, so we can be able to have the conversation around that. Maybe the information will be able to help other people outside. Maybe not the committee that the bishop already said, but people outside, so that they can be able to understand what the facts are, and then they will know, the strategy and how we can be able to generate fund. And we need to generate fund. Then we have a clearer understanding. So maybe we could
recognize. Yeah, I'll recognize our viewers. Like we always do. Sorry, last Sunday but we always do. This is some.
When you call the directors, I hope they're not going to tell you that the bishop said they should not come.
I think this is about helping our church in the LTR. So but anyway.
Reverend say you want to be careful how you talk, but Reverend not careful now.
We want to recognize our sister Victoria Nambe Johnson, following.
Well, they're not your sister over there.
Our mother.
Thank you.
Sorry, our mother. Yes, thank you very much, Reverend. Our Mother Johnson. Thank you so much. All right, but this one I can tell you for sure. This is our sister. Sister Marlene Molba. Marlene Molba Kekula. That's the wife of the senior brother Benedict Kekula,
former men's president.
Yeah, the former men's president, right?
Former national men's president.
Former national men's president. Yes, sir. Our brother Roger Aben Kemu, he was on the show sometime. Brother Rich K. Kennedy, viewing from Cinco. The same brother Sonny George. He is checking us, seeing how we are doing. And this is my little brother, Emmanuel Kobo. He's following us from Kokoya. Brother Kekula Dolo, we want to say thank you very much. Brother George Toto, and he also gave his thoughts. And Brother Leroy, we hope that Leroy is the one who broke the information to us that the property at Tower Hill is being leased.
Did you say Brother Josh Toto?
No, I think that was an error. The senior brother, Dr. George Tutu.
Exactly. I just wanted you to mention the
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
just wanted you to mention the senior brother is not what I was requesting. I just wanted you to mention Dr. Tutu.
Dr. Tutu, that's right. when you said that, I caught myself. I said, "Oh no!" And also, Brother Faya, and he also has a comment here. Brother Faya said that, said, "Trust me, some of our Lutheran organizations have money just sitting." Man, you might think that the money is just sitting, but you have to defend. You have to show cost. Even though the money is there, but you have to show cost, but we have to give them your plan. Yeah, exactly, brother Fayad. Have to give them your plan. For example, travel and support all Lutheran projects. Yep, exactly. You are right. Travel and support a whole lot of projects. Okay, too many projects, but we have to tell Travel what we want to do, what the issue is, and what we can bring to the table. Okay, you see, so those are some of the things. You have traveling, you also have protocol, and and here also they have the IMF. Okay, we can write a grant maybe to the IMF, but again, we have to have all. We have to do revisit the situation, come up with our documentation, the analysis, and everything. Then we can now go ahead and write and say, okay, this is our problem. We've already, we're not going to tell them that we patch everything, but this is our problem. We know where we want to go. Unless asking, saying, okay, you brought your problem to me. What are some of the plans that you have? You say, oh no, I forgot. Let me go and write it on paper and come back, and they will take us, yeah. But that's good input, Brother Fire. I want to say thank you very much. Yeah. On this, we can do our closing comment, our round table, and be calling it this evening.
So we got a number display, and I don't know if we open the line for a few calls, but if we
we can open the line for a few calls, and if anyone wants to
contribute,
you can come in. Yeah,
you can contribute. But while we're waiting for the call, I would just like to say that the LTR, we want to ensure that we try by all means to bring it to the limelight, so that people are able to really understand and give it the kind of support it needs. And I think that's something we need to continue to have a series on, getting these directors to come so we can have conversation around that, to know the facts. And then from there, we can try to see how we can even get the committee, if the bishop allows, and the committee will want to make itself available, we can have a conversation with them to see what we can do to have, the conversation around LTR and give.
We have a caller, and the next person who's on the line, I'm gonna call you back. The number ending in 2529. I'm gonna call you back because we have someone on the line right now. The number ending in 2529. I'm gonna call you back. Go ahead, CM brother. Thank you very much, CM brother. Go ahead.
How you doing, gentlemen?
Fine.
And how you doing, gentlemen?
They're listening. Go ahead, CM brother. They're listening. Everyone listening.
Congratulations to Pastor Yabazo. I heard the good news. So congratulations. My concern has to do with the timing of the program. Majority of the time, your studio guests come from Liberia.
Okay. This is somebody want you to call your name, please.
My name is Sonny A. George. I'm calling from my stable in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So
my concern, just something I've observed. Majority of the people that participate on the on the network comes from Liberia, right? and the timing is so terrible for them. You will bear me with this. Every time you call them, they are like in the darkness. The time difference is so huge for them. And knowing the problem of Liberia with darkness, electricity, and data management, and those kinds of things, is it possible to adjust the time a little bit so that at least when you start the program, since it's on Sunday, when you start the program, they will be home and it wouldn't be very dark and they will have some daylight to participate so that we all can understand what they're saying and see them clearly instead of using candle lights and phone lights and those kinds of things. Is it possible?
Yeah, thank you very much, CM brother. Management will meet as a team. We'll take that into consideration, serious consideration. Yeah, we'll
Thank you.
definitely look into that.
Okay, thank you. I'm
I
grateful.
want to thank
Bye-bye.
you so much for your continuous contribution.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So his concern is that the timing, if we can make adjustment to the timing, but we will meet and we discuss that. But I have a caller here who he been trying to call like twice. So let me just call him back.
So while we're recording, placing the call, Remy, I think.
Yeah. So the person did call back. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Thank you again for a very good productive show. Let me greet Pastor Yabazo and our other brother that you studio.
Yeah, the ambassador.
Yeah, the ambassador. I hope you're doing well in Sierra Leone. The point I want to make, when it comes to innovation in our church, right? It's very important for us to be more innovative and look at what other people are doing right before our eye, and they are successful. We are living in an era now where a lot of information is out there. I don't think it would hurt us to reach out to some of the people and ask them, hey, how you people do this to get to where you are today? For instance, right across the road from us, we see the United Methodist Church right now there. Over the time, we have seen how that place have becoming so successful, the Methodist Church, in terms of the project and other programs that they run right before our eyes. And every time we're talking about our one little area we have to the beach way there, and without making use of that facility to be more innovative. I mean, sometimes we go to reach out, and talk. Even if we have the expertise within the LCL, also too, we need to tap into there. But every time this discussion, I get the first we are discussing it. I can recall right after the war, where a lot of projects, a lot of opportunities were opening. The Lutheran Church to take advantage of some of these opportunities, they didn't take advantage of it. If you can recall, those of you can already recall before the 1990 war, where they had the old Single Shopping Center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That place was right up to the Methodist Church. That place was the Lutheran Church. But do we know? Can we understand know what happened to that place? What happened to that piece of property today? If we found out, it will be surprising to know what happened to that property. How do we lose that property? The same way to the Tower Hill property. What they talking about, the government lease the property right now. Before the government could go to lease that property I get there. So we have the property like already young person was saying, when it comes to some of the LCL property, land until the up country whatsoever, they have vast property on land, but instead of the central office taking control of those land, they leave it to local parishes. And the local parishes are not trying to give value. They were not able to take it on land, but it should come from central command. Yeah. We talk about, before the war, we talk about agriculture. agriculture, one of the fulcrum of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. They make use of it, but right now, I can't understand how the church really fortunately to be more successful. Are you going to depend on the private to continue to pay 10% when the people can have food to even the congregation can even have money to even put offering? How you going to generate 10% when the people can even put offering? So the central office have you're supposed to take ownership of all these rural property, consolidate there, take about the land and other things, and bring some good people on board to move forward and come up with innovative idea. But the church is not making that effort. We are just staying to the same place. Another bishop got the same old story, another bishop got the same old story. It's just getting too much to be fair. That's a contribution I want to make.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Toto. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Dr. Toto, thank you. But we just want to clarify from one of the participants saying, Sonny A. George, that the property you made mention of was actually not for the LCL, but the LCL really did not have the financial strength to purchase it. That was it. Yeah. And so the Methodist Church bought it. Yeah. And so the Methodist Church had to buy it. Yeah. Yes. So that was it. So do we have any other call, or then we can just give our closing comments?
No, we can give our closing comments now and the and come up next week. So I will just say this, that next week we are gonna be we hope to have the current director and the former director of the LTI. The bishop is informed about our series for LTI and the plans, the programs that we have, and this is being led by our dear brother and alumni of LTI, brother Josiah Jokai. So he's leading the effort from our team here. So next Sunday, we're very much, we are hoping to have the current director and the former director of LTI talking about the short-term and long-term, prospects for LTI. And we will be also having the alumni associations talking about Liberia and the diaspora, like the US. We're going to be engaging with them to have them appear on the show. So it's going to be a wonderful show. It's going to be a wonderful show come next week and the week after. So the entire series going to the last Sunday is all about LTI, helping LTI, creating the awareness for LTI. I just want to reference that. But it was a great show. It was a great show this evening. So it was a great show this evening.
Yeah, very great show. The show is always fascinating.
Oh yeah, always.
With all guests, are always fascinating. I just want to join you to say thank you so much, and thank you, Reverend, for
my computer being crazy. I don't know. I just could not leave and come back. So yeah, I just been hanging in there.
Yeah.
See Andrew, your pastor need computer, see Andrew.
No, man.
Taking up your time to join us, and I just want to thank our viewers and thank our brother in the Lusaka that's still trying to relay our show. Brother Sonny George, Father Sonny George, your suggestion is on a serious advisement, and we're going to see what kind of time that will be favorable, and maybe we could do some adjustment in a not too distant future. I want to say thanks to.
What property is he talking about here, about the Methodist?
No, it's the same property. And what Brother George is saying that both of them are George anyway. The first George is coming, other one George is coming second.
Yeah, one last name, one last name. Yeah.
Yeah, one is first, one is last. So the George that is coming first, he's saying that that is coming last. He's saying that he said that the property, the church was engaged, the LCO was engaged, but the LCO did not. LCO said did not have money at the time. So the Methodist was approached, they took it, but Brother George, the George that come first, is saying that the property was the LCL was engaged first, and even the person who engaged the LCL, they were members of the those who engaged the LCA, they were members of the church. So, I mean, taking stock, and I believe we also have a property on Broad Street. I think we need to call Reverend Panning. We need to invite Reverend Panning to this show. He's the former GS.
Yeah, hopefully he can tell us more about some of those things.
Yeah, some of the yeah.
I didn't even know the one in Congo Town was for us until lately, just before, I think just before 2017 or 2016, before I got to know that this building ran on the Congo Town back road, not too far from Winners Chapel.
Winners Chapel.
So
Reverend, you're going to end the show now. I also got very astonished when I heard about 11th Street. I really didn't know that we had that kind of building there. I mean, I was kind of surprised. So you see, I mean,
but Jerry, when I sit on this platform, I know you want to. We all need to go, but let me tell you something. When I sit on this platform, and you hear me talk about stock, when I learned that from St. Andrew. When I took over St. Andrew, and I had to verify, somebody, one of the older person at St. Andrew told me before, and I'll hold the name back for now, that the Lutheran Church used to own as far as the Maningo Graveyard on the Oro, going all the way down to where almost, I don't want to call, couple name, but today, where do we have? We are stuck right in that fence. If you don't take stock from the beginning, you lost a lot. And I'm hoping that we can. It's not late yet for it to do.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not late. Yeah,
it's not late. So Reverend, just give us the benediction.
Well, again, it was good being here, and I'm hoping that all of you will understand that getting the LCA where it intends to go, or where all of us wants to see it, it comes with pain. Like Jesus said today in our gospel, according to Luke 14:25-33, that he who follow me must deny his father, his mother, his sister, his relatives, pick up his cross and follow me. For us to make this LCA where it ought to be, we all will have to individually pick up our cross as Lutherans for the betterment for this church, and make sure that we get it. Until we get it to where it ought to be, we should not be quiet. May the Lord bless you, keep you, make his face shine upon each and every one of you, and be gracious unto you. Amen.
Thank you so much, Reverend. Thank you so much. And
thank you, Reverend.
So, folks, there you have it. We want to say thank you very much. We ask you to please join us next week Sunday, as we have another show again for you. Until then, this has been the Reverend Zexter Leader Yapaswo, the Ambassador Jerry Tablo, and Willie Cowboy's production. Thank you very much.